everybody, thank you so much for tuning in once again. My name's Joanna M. Cameron, and I'm a mental health therapist and a life coach, and I'm bringing you mental health tips and life coaching tools that are going to help you navigate through your everyday life. And today I have back with me my special guest,
Coach Dorian Randolph. I am a high school PE teacher and also a high school basketball coach.
and he was so kind to come back and have another visit with us on the show. So today what we're going to talk about in our Lovin' Us series is the 5 love languages. And we're going to talk a little bit about, it's Gary Chapman, and he talks about the love languages and being able to kind of know your partner's love language to help you in communication and just basically getting along better. You can use it with your kids, you can use it with friends, you can use it with, like I said, with your partner. So today we're going to kind of talk about how we've applied it to our lives to make it a little bit better and, you know, kind of make sure that we understand each other a little bit better. So I'm going to let Dorian start off today on our Lovin' Us series and give us some information on these love languages and what you think about it.
All right, well, before meeting Joanna, of course, I was oblivious and ignorant to the fact of 5 love languages. She approached me, talking about things that could potentially make our relationship better. We've been together about 9 years, so around year 4 or 5, she started to talk about me, that I know what her love language was. And I had no clue of what she was talking about. So she gave me the book, Gary Chapman, and the 5 love languages. And just to state what they are, quality time, physical touch, words of affirmation, acts of service, and also receiving gifts. So those are the 5 different breakdowns for the 5 love languages. So prior to her, I knew nothing about that. And me, I was not a good communicator. So knowing your partner's 5 love languages with the word language, it helps you start off the communication. So that's kind of where I got into the 5 love languages. And I'm a super competitive person. So me not wanting to, not knowing everything that I needed to know to make her happy, kind of felt like I was losing. So I dug into this book. We took the quizzes to find out what each other's love language was, and here we are. So we're here to talk about that a little bit with you all today.
And so I'm going to look down a little bit because I am holding up on my phone. I pulled it up about the 5 love languages. And in taking the quiz, basically what it is, it just asks you a bunch of different questions. You can pull it up online, so I really recommend that everybody know what their love languages are. And when you identify what your love language is, it really helps you to be able to communicate to your partner better what your needs are and what's most important to you. And most people really know what their love language is typically before they even take the quiz. Like I always knew what mine was. And so the quiz just confirmed for me what it was. And it really coincided with what I said my non-negotiable was. I needed somebody that was going to put me first and be there for me and spend time with me. And quality time just so happens to be my love language. And then there's also, like you'll have different levels or different tiers. So after quality time, I think my second highest one was acts of service. So that one, actually, I'm just gonna kind of read what it says. Let them know you're wanting to help to lighten their load. And so that's kind of important to me. That one was below quality time. So anything that he can do to kind of make my load easier. So if I have a stressful day and I come in and I say, well, dang, I forgot to get something from the store. The first thing he'll say is, don't worry about it, I'll go get it for you. So that for me is big because that helps lighten my load, and that also shows me that he actually cares about, helping me out and, relieving some of my stress. And so, like I said, with quality time being my main one, it really just went right along already with what I already knew about myself. So what was yours?
Fellas, I'm gonna be honest. I ain't know. She said she already knew what hers, and then the quiz just kind of affirmed what she already knew. I had no idea, no clue of what mine was, because I never really thought about the love language stuff. So of course me, I had to take the quiz and end up finding out based on the quiz, and we have this debate back and forth. But my first one was words of affirmation, and it was also tied with the receiving of gifts. And based on something that Joanna told me that kind of made sense, because me, I'm gonna be honest, and I'm not tooting my own horn, I'm a heck of a gift giver. And so, during the holidays and things like that, man, I come up with some great gift ideas to present to her. And of course, she's happy, and she shares with her friends what I've done, and they seem to think that, she has this such a great guy. But to come to find out, yes, she appreciates everything, but her true number one love languages was not the receiving of gifts, but actually the quality time. And with me being a basketball coach, there's off season and during season. So, the quality time during season, it's kind of slim. That's what the date nights thing was so very important. Me giving her the pieces of quality time that she needed when I am not engaged in basketball, even during season. So like we said, mine is words of affirmation and receiving of gifts. Well, she really believes words of affirmation like kind of takes cake, that I have to hear all these good things.
And he eats it up, and that's the truth. Like, if I tell him that he looks nice, or he's sexy, or I love the way this pink shirt looks on you, like it's a great color, or you did a great job, and he really likes to hear that. I mean, it's like you can see a glow in him, if he were glowing, if he could glow. But I know that I think it really feeds into, basically just confirming that that's something that is important to him. And when I do it, I do notice a difference. Like, he lightens up. And then gifts. And kind of going back to what he said, how he's a great gift giver and gives me a lot of gifts, that's because that's what he likes. And typically that's what we do. We'll tend to give people what it is, the things that we like, the things that are most comfortable for us, things that we want. And, like I said, he's great at covering the quality time. And I mentioned that before in our last video. But, he would buy me gifts and things like that, which I also appreciate. But my whole idea of a gift is, okay, now you gave me this gift. Are we also going to go somewhere? Are we going to do something? And like, wouldn't I say that?
All the time. All the time.
So, like, I don't want you to just hand me a gift and then we're done. I'd rather go somewhere and then you give me a gift while we're there. So, spending the quality time together and then getting the gift, that's better for me. And so, he's just really good about giving gifts, but that's what he likes. So you kind of have to be cautious about making sure that you're not imposing what it is that you like onto your partner and not really paying attention to what they like, because that's important and you can miss that. And I think that's where a lot of, relationships tend to struggle, is because we're missing what our partner's love language is and we're not feeding into that. So just by taking this simple quiz and being able to identify what is your partner's love language will help you to know better what you need to do to fulfill the needs that they have in a relationship.
And as a guy, and I can't speak for all of us, but that's not something that we really pay attention to or focus on, the love language. And it definitely brightened my knowledge and opened my eyes to how to be a better partner with actually knowing what her love language is. So, I definitely would suggest, fellas, that you dig into that and actually feel. Because, I know we're prideful beings, and we think that we are doing things right when we go buy stuff, and do little things for them. But that quiz, the 5 love languages, knowing what your partner's number one is, I think we actually need to take the time to dig into that if we're trying to be the best partner for our significant other as possible. So I'm definitely a big fan of knowing and investigating and learning the 5 love languages and which one or which 2 are highest on my partner's radar, so I can definitely meet those. Like I say, I don't like to lose. And if I'm not definitely meeting her needs, then I'm losing. So therefore, I have to go back and revamp. So I definitely suggest, once you decide that your relationship is, or that person is serious enough for you, to you, I definitely suggest that you go and you dig into that 5 love languages, and that's something that you all discuss and find out about each other.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. And then in regards to some of the other ones, like your partner's love language may be physical touch. And you're constantly telling them how great you are and how proud of them you are, but then you walk right by them and don't give them a hug, or you don't give them a kiss or a little pat on the butt, in a maybe a flirtatious way. So you've given them no physical touch other than maybe when it's time to come together in the bedroom. And that's not going to suffice for somebody whose love language is physical touch. That's something that they need ongoing. Like, they need you to come in and give them a hug. They need you to give them a kiss. They need you to just maybe hold their hand in public. And I can probably say that he and I both are not real big on having to have physical touch. I mean, I do like a hug, like it'll, seal the deal maybe at the end of the night, or, just maybe some.
I come in.
Yeah, or when he comes, yeah, exactly. Coming in from work, but it doesn't have to be like we're sitting all up under each other. Like, we're not really up under each other people, which works for us. But every now and then it's fine. And, be mindful that with these love languages that, again, there's primary, like there's the ones that are at the top, but then the other ones are also in there. Like, you want those things, they just aren't, priority. Like, you don't have to have them all day, every day. Whereas certain specific ones, you really want to make sure you're focused on. So don't neglect that the other ones aren't important. Don't think that, the words of affirmation and the acts of service, like, going to the store, lightening your partner's load, or, helping out around the house, or telling that person you're proud of them that they did a good job. Don't think that those things aren't important also. It's just knowing what is primary and really focusing in on those.
Yeah, sounds good. So like I said, my word of advice would definitely be to dig into the 5 love languages and find out what your partner's main top 2 are, without, as she said, ignoring the other 3, but finding what those top 2 are and really, really, really digging into those, because it's called love language, and it is a way to communicate with your significant other through those different those 5 different pillars. So definitely, guys, those guys that already knew this, hey man, salute to you, because I learned it at, we saying 6 years ago, so I learned it about at age 36, 37. So those guys that's already ahead of the game, man, I salute you. You a better man than I was at that particular time. But now that I know about the 5 love languages, I make it a habit to make sure I am definitely touching on those, especially when I'm in season and coaching. Coming home from a hard day, loss, or a hard practice, I know that once I come home, I got to kind of release that stuff and make sure I focus a little bit of attention on her. We have shows that we watch together, and that's quality time for her, especially watching shows that we love. And I'm going to put it out there. She got me into the Married at First Sight. That's one of our shows. The Bachelor, The Bachelorette. What is it? The Paradise, when the ones who can't find love on the show go to Bachelors in Paradise.
Yeah, sometimes
man, I'm watching some of all this reality stuff, and I've grown to like it. And at the same time, it makes her happy that I do sit down with her and watch these shows, and I'm actually paying attention. And then I know the people more than she knows the people. Like, I'm a good name person and face person, so I know the people more than she know the people. So when I'm going, and then that in return leads up to conversations outside of the TV. So we actually have those sit down and quiet time conversations, and we can talk about the show. And that again, it is feed into her quality time. So like I said, I would definitely suggest, once you find that one that you think is the one, or you look into that love language, man, I promise you it'll make your life so much easier, and it helps you understand your partner.
Yeah. And not only that, I mean, a lot of people split up, and you say we just grew apart. A lot of times people say, well, we just grew apart. And had you maybe known what those love languages were to begin with, you may not have grown apart. I think you may have just been speaking different languages and didn't know where the divide came from. And so we're both in our second relationships, moving on into second marriages now. And so I think it's real beneficial if that's something that you can grow from and learn from, where maybe you made those mistakes early in your first relationships, and now you can identify where things went wrong and really apply that now, moving into your second relationships. And now that you might be a little bit older, more seasoned, like we are. So just putting other people's needs ahead of your own, and not necessarily being so selfish, and taking the time to do some of those things, like watching those shows that you might totally be opposed to, doing some of those things that you just really don't, that may not be a desire of yours, but a desire of your partner's or your spouse or whatever. And and you really just take the time to focus in on them, because if they're happy, then in turn you're going to be happy, because they're going to do more to try to make you happy, just because you've worked on making them happy. So it's kind of like a circle. So it all works together.
Yeah, I definitely would say that, because in the end, it's about loving us, and same thing for you, loving each other. So definitely, as she said, she took the words right out of my mouth. When you make that person, it's about making that person your significant other, making them happy, because in return, it's going to provide that happiness for you, especially when you're not arguing and bickering over certain things. Because if she's happy, then your life is so much easier and so much more, less stressful. Happy wife, happy life is the quote that they say, that I'm actually starting to take in and really learn. So I think we got a bit covered.
I think that sums it up.
and real quick before we go, because I always we gotta. I actually think, I know quality time is her first one and acts of service her second one, but I honestly actually think words of affirmations up there with her. It doesn't say it on the quiz, but I'm in the relationship every day, and man, do she blast me when she puts on something, and I never say how good she looks, or how beautiful, or how gorgeous that she looks. Man, she gives me an earful on me not complimenting her, and I've tried to get better. I'm still a super work in progress.
He don't think I'm pretty, y'all.
I do. I just it's in my mind. Like, I see and I be like, damn, she looks good in that. But I forget to express it out loud, because like I said, I'm growing to be a better communicator. But in my mind, all kind of things is racing on how good she looks. But I guess I have to get better in actually expressing that with my words. So I actually think words of affirmation is up there on hers, even though the quiz doesn't say it. I actually think words of affirmation is not that big on mine, but she says she notices, I believe she said the word glow, and I think that's just totally for women that do the glow thing. So but she says it. But so definitely you got to dig into it, and you got to kind of play around with it and make sure that the top two are actually where they are, and not neglecting the other ones. Because I try to give her more words of affirmation, because I know she's big on that, even though the quiz doesn't say it. So I try to touch up on that, just to make sure I'm not leaving anything out, because I want to be a well-rounded spouse. And so that's that's it. But I know if we're about to end this, I always wanted to do this now that I started watching the videos. So if this is something that you would like to see more of, if you would like for me to come back by more often, please make sure you leave that down in the comment, and like she says, make sure you hit subscribe, so you'll get those, and ring that bell. Yes. So you will get the notifications, and if you want to see me, definitely subscribing and hitting the notification. It'll send you those alerts to let you know when I'm back on the scene, making his
debut appearances.
Yes, I'm a special guest appearance. I dip in and I kind of dip out. I got to get used to being on camera. This is a little bit out of my element. When I'm coaching in front of a crowd, man, that's easy. But just sitting here looking into this lens, and there's no crowd, there's no noise, I got to get used to that. So I will say, like I said, I love to compete. So if I haven't gotten better since the last one, please let me know in the comments, because I I definitely will work on getting better because I don't like to lose at anything in life.
That's so true. So true. Such a competitor, and that's why he lost at charades last night. So we're going to go ahead and end right there. Anything else you want to say to close it out?
They always say she's right. You right.
All right. All right. So thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share the video. And we will see you again on our couples edition of Love in Us the next time. Bye
Have a
for
nice
now.
one.